Section 1. The Roads of Death, a New Reality in Pokrovsk. In the contested landscape of eastern Ukraine, near the city of Pokrovsk, a deadly new reality has taken hold. This city, a critical railway and road junction, serves as a primary logistical gateway for Ukrainian forces in the Donbass. For Russia, capturing it is a major strategic objective. But the arteries leading towards it have been transformed. Ukrainian forces are using swarms of inexpensive yet highly effective first-person view, or FPV, drones to turn these vital supply routes into lethal traps. Operating day and night, these small, agile hunter-killers patrol the skies with a singular purpose: to interdict and destroy any Russian vehicle that dares to travel here. These routes are now known by a grim but fitting name: the Roads of Death. The name is not an exaggeration or a piece of propaganda. It is a stark, factual description of what happens to Russian military convoys that attempt to traverse these contested highways. With relentless efficiency, Russian supply lines are being systematically dismantled, one vehicle at a time. The roads leading to the front are now graveyards, littered with the wreckage of main battle tanks, armored personnel carriers, and even civilian transports, often hastily repurposed for military logistics. These skeletal remains serve as a constant, chilling warning to any who might follow. This strategy of logistical attrition is crippling Russia's ability to build up forces and sustain major offensive operations in the area. This drone-led interdiction campaign is a core component of Ukraine's active defense of the Pokrovsk axis. By denying Russia secure use of the roads, Ukraine prevents its adversary from massing the mechanized strength needed for a breakthrough. Russia has been trying to advance on this front for months, committing significant resources to the effort. But control of the airspace directly above these roads means that even the most powerful armored columns are vulnerable. Every meter of asphalt is under constant, unblinking observation from a network of reconnaissance and attack drones. As a result, Russian offensives often collapse before they can properly begin, their logistical tail severed miles from the front line. For Russia, these vital arteries have become one-way streets to destruction, veritable graveyards for irreplaceable equipment and trained personnel. The visual evidence, captured and confirmed by footage from both sides of the conflict, is as shocking as it is undeniable. This is the new face of modern warfare, fought not just on the front lines, but along every road leading to it. Section 2. The Drone Patrols, Ukraine's Watchful Eyes. The strategy rests on constant surveillance. Ukraine has deployed elite units to patrol routes into and around Pokrovsk. Patrols run 24 hours a day. They seek anything bearing Russian markings or aiding the war effort. Multi-layered patrols create a net that is difficult to evade. Once found, the response is immediate. The operator assesses type and purpose. The goal is to cripple Russia's logistical network. Every vehicle is a potential target, even the most advanced battle tank, or as simple as a supply truck or van. Operators are highly skilled. One geolocated video shows a drone flown through an open window. The payload detonates only once inside. The result is a massive internal explosion. It's a precision level traditional artillery often cannot match. Another incident: a T-80 spotted, struck, and disabled, adding to over 11,200 tanks destroyed since the invasion began. These are not isolated events. They happen daily on the roads of death. Driving here has become a life-or-death gamble under watchful eyes. On the critical Pokrovsk axis, a relentless battle unfolds not just on the front lines, but along the vital arteries that sustain the Russian war machine. These supply routes, dubbed the Roads of Death, are under constant surveillance. Here, Ukrainian drone operators are not selective. Any vehicle identified as serving Russian logistics is considered fair game. The goal is simple: to sever the flow of supplies and reinforcements, strangling the offensive capability at its source. The primary targets, of course, remain high-value military hardware. Main battle tanks are always a priority, and armored personnel carriers, which transport troops and equipment to the front. Taking out one of these can disrupt an entire platoon, but the hunt extends far beyond heavy armor. Drones are tasked with eliminating any vehicle that contributes to the war effort, no matter how insignificant it may seem. This includes a motley collection of soft-skinned vehicles, vans, pickups, even motorcycles. Many of these are pressed into service for last-mile logistics, delivering small but crucial batches of ammunition, rations, or medical supplies to forward positions. This widespread reliance on makeshift transports paints a grim picture of the dire state of Russia's mechanized forces. After suffering staggering losses in armored vehicles since the start of the full-scale invasion, commanders are forced to resort to civilian models never intended for a battlefield. These vehicles offer little to no armor, providing virtually no protection against the explosive charges carried by FPV drones. For the soldiers inside, they are little more than death traps. The reliance on these vulnerable civilian vehicles has grown steadily as the war has dragged on. At one point, open-source intelligence analysts noted that about 70% of Russia's monthly vehicle losses were civilian models. More recent estimates suggest that number has climbed even higher, now approaching a staggering 90% in some sectors. Russian propaganda sometimes hypes the use of motorbikes, touting their speed and agility. But on the exposed, cratered roads of the Donbass, a near miss from a drone is often as fatal as a direct hit. The reality on the roads of death is starkly different from the propaganda. Riders are completely exposed, and the wrecks of their machines pile up, becoming grim roadside monuments to a desperate strategy. In a desperate attempt to counter the drone threat, Russia fits its remaining tanks and APCs with improvised armor, slat armor cages derisively nicknamed cope cages. The theory behind them is sound. The cage is meant to force the premature detonation of an incoming warhead, creating a standoff distance that allows the shaped charge to dissipate before it can penetrate the vehicle's main armor. Designs vary wildly, from simple field-welded frames to elaborate, all-encompassing shells that earn their vehicles the moniker turtle tanks. But these massive cages add significant weight and bulk, drastically slowing the vehicles, limiting turret traverse, and ruining their maneuverability, often turning them into sluggish, static targets. This creates a new set of problems. Skilled drone pilots learn to exploit the inevitable gaps in the cage's coverage, or simply wait for the tank to get stuck. In the end, the cope cage often fails, and the armor it was meant to protect is destroyed anyway. Russia should have learned this lesson by now. The brutal effectiveness of targeting exposed supply lines is a recurring bloody chapter in this conflict. Ukraine's roads of death are not a new phenomenon. They are a repeatable and devastatingly effective tactic, born from necessity and perfected through innovation. In the fall of 2024, during the incursion into Kursk, an 8.7-mile stretch of a single highway became a textbook kill zone. Over several weeks, more than 30 pieces of Russian heavy equipment were systematically identified and destroyed along this one artery. Now, this same methodical approach to attrition warfare is grinding Russia's offensive to a halt in the critical Pokrovsk sector. The scale is staggering. Analysis of just one road leading towards Pokrovsk documented over 140 destroyed Russian vehicles. That averages out to nearly 29 destroyed vehicles for every mile of road, a testament to the intensity of the drone-led interdiction campaign. Russian commanders are caught in a terrible bind. Either they don't care about the staggering losses, or they are so desperate to achieve their objectives that such predictable destruction is deemed an acceptable cost. A key figure orchestrating this new reality of the battlefield is Commander Robert Brovdy, known by his call sign, Magyar. A successful businessman before the war, Brovdy became a volunteer, applying his civilian skills to military problems just before the full-scale invasion in 2022. His rapid rise and effectiveness earned him one of Ukraine's highest military honors, the Hero of Ukraine Award. Now a commander in the newly formed Unmanned Systems Forces, he is at the forefront of formalizing and scaling up drone warfare from an ad hoc tool to a central pillar of Ukrainian defense. His doctrine is clear and uncompromising. Achieve total drone dominance not just at the front, but for dozens of kilometers behind it, creating a deep interdiction zone. In this zone, every meter of road is under constant observation. Every vehicle, from main battle tanks to civilian cars pressed into logistics, is tracked. Any unsanctioned movement is punished, almost immediately. For Russia, this means there is no safe space to organize, supply, or maneuver. The rear area, once a sanctuary, is now part of the front line. The effect is profound. Large-scale mechanized assaults, the cornerstone of Russian doctrine, are now almost impossible to stage effectively in the Pokrovsk area. In response, Russia has been forced to adapt, sending tiny, dispersed fire teams on foot to try and infiltrate Ukrainian lines and hunt the drone and mortar positions causing such havoc. But Ukraine counters this move by retasking its ever-present drones, prioritizing these small infantry groups as primary targets. The battlefield transforms into a lethal, high-stakes game of cat and mouse, where even the smallest movement can be fatal. The Kremlin's summer deadline for capturing Pokrovsk has passed. Now, with their primary offensive strategy blunted by a swarm of inexpensive drones, a palpable sense of desperation is setting in.